Hey, welcome to Veteran Off-Road. My name is Francisco. We're going to be operating today out of my garage, and I got the Jeep Gladiator in here because we're going to be doing a much needed upgrade to it. And just in case you haven't been following the build, past couple months I have installed a 4.5-inch lift from Evo, and I've also installed a high steer kit from Steer Smarts. Shortly thereafter I did conduct a shakedown run and unfortunately found a few issues that were concerning to me, and definitely something that needed to be addressed. When reading up on the Evo kit, I did see in the instructions that I would have been fine with the front drive shaft being stock. Come to find out, ended up rubbing up on my exhaust, and it was supposed to be okay as long as I had run the Bilstein 5100 shocks that it came with. Nonetheless, the rubbing on the exhaust wasn't too excessive. Sooner or later, the boot was going to be failing on it. I also didn't really like the angle of it. To me, in my opinion, it was a little too steep. It's just something that I want to address early on in the build. So I did find and purchase the drive shaft that I wanted to go with. It's going to be this bad boy from Adams Driveshaft, and it will be a 1350 drive shaft. Not only is this thing super solid and heavy, I mean the quality just looks amazing. Did go with the OEM flange mount where it meets up at the axle, and for the back we're going to be replacing the yoke over on the transfer case. So hopefully that's not too hard and it's a smooth install. Came with your bolt for it, a little bit of red Loctite, and then your decal. And the new Adams drive shaft came packaged very well. These little foam pieces were super difficult to come off of it. I ended up having to cut it off because yeah, they were on there. That drive shaft was going nowhere in that box. It didn't seem too excessive on tools that we're going to be needing. I know something that we're going to be needing is this gasket maker, some red Loctite, 1.25 inch socket to remove the transfer case flange nut, 15 mil for the axle side flange bolts. For the back side on the transfer case, you'll also need a T50 for us to go ahead and remove all those bolts that secure that flange in place. And then for the new bolts going in, it said it needed a 5/16. I do not have one small enough, so they also said that an 8 will work. Hopefully this one will work. And then torque wrench obviously is a must. And then I got a few extensions and then a little swivel just in case we need that. Hopefully we got everything we need. And the drive shaft that I did go ahead and go with is kind of like an off-the-shelf drive shaft. If you want, you can take measurements and hit up Adams Driveshaft. They'll custom make one for you as well at no additional cost, I believe. They're pretty good about their customer service. I had to call them and just make sure that I had the proper stuff that I needed for mine. As far as I know, this is supposed to work with my 4.5-inch lift. Definitely be able to take those steeper angles, and then the diameter of the drive shaft is going to alleviate it from hitting the exhaust, how it's been doing. So let's go in there, try to throw it on. Hopefully it's a smooth install. I'm gonna kick this off by taking off those T50 bolts on the T-case. And I was able to do that with a little 3-inch extension, a little swivel, and then the T50. I was able to reach it nice and good. Next, let's get those 15 mils off the axle side flange. These 4 bolts you're going to want to save. Don't get rid of those. Make sure you save them. Let's see if the rubber mallet will take care of this. Alrighty. Not too bad. Alrighty, next I'm gonna go ahead and put my transfer case into 4-wheel drive. And that way we could go ahead and take that T-case flange nut off. Alrighty, I got 18 inches worth of extension here, so let's see if this will be enough. And it was perfect. 1.25 inch socket did the job. Easy peasy. Next, I believe we have to try to give it a little bit of force on the back side of that flange and see if we can go ahead and get it to pop out. And I'm gonna use my rubber mallet handle, put it on the back side, and then I got a little 4-pounder that I'm gonna just hit. And that did the job as well. Look at that. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna clean up the new bolts that are gonna be going into the yoke. They have like some oil on there that you're gonna wanna remove. I'm gonna be putting some red Loctite on them, so I just wanna make sure that they're nice and clean. And then the flange nut is gonna be getting that gasket maker around here, so I just wanna make sure that this is clean as well. Nice. Alrighty, for this next part, we're gonna grab the new yoke going in, lube up the end right here so it doesn't go in dry. And it's just with some Mopar AT4 is what I'm using. Good to go. And then we're gonna grab the gasket maker and apply it to the flange nut. Once you apply it, make sure you smooth it all out. Should be a nice even coat all the way around. And along with that, we're gonna also be putting some red Loctite. Bam. Should be ready to go. Let's see how smooth this goes now. Okay. Looks like it should bottomed out. Bring in the nut. And then I am just gonna zip it on in and then I'll torque it down to spec. Alrighty. Get the torque wrench now. And I am gonna be going to 166 foot-pounds. 166. Oh yeah. Alrighty, next I'm gonna just go ahead and prep my Loctite on my bolts. These are the ones on the axle side flange. Get some blue Loctite on them. And then the ones going to the new T-case yoke, I'm gonna go ahead and put some red Loctite on those. Real quick before I throw on the new one, just a little side-by-side comparison. And I mean, you can definitely see the diameter on this one, super narrow compared to the OEM one. Especially right here, you can see where it was touching my exhaust right here. Again, it wasn't too excessive, but again, it was leaning on there quite a bit. And I don't believe that I was fully flexed out either. So I think, you know, a little more pressure on it, it would have just been definitely pushing in on it. But yeah, this, compared to this guy, a lot heavier duty. This is solid, and as far as I know, this is hollow. And these grooves right here just kind of meet into other grooves that it has on this side. And yeah, it's just pretty much a hollow tube. So definitely going to be much needed strength and a lot more clearance for sure. Here are your little T50 bolts that you had to take out. And then your OEM yoke that you take out. But yeah, let's get her in there. And I'm gonna kick it off by placing the TK side on first. I did went ahead and took it off four-wheel drive so that way I can freely spin it. Very tight space. And then I'm kind of grabbing it with the other side with my leg and kind of just moving it around, trying to lay it a little flatter and letting me snug it in a little bit tighter by hand. And then I do have a little 8mm little ratchet. I'm gonna go ahead and use this to get it in. I could only imagine if you had bigger hands than me that how much more difficult this would be. But this little ratchet definitely helps out. And again, remember you need an 8.8mm or 5/16. Snug this side down. Alrighty, flip it around, get the next two in. Alrighty, I'll come back and tighten these up later on. If you do torque it down, it's going to be no more than 18 foot-pounds. It's going to be a little difficult, but we'll find a way to do that. Again, this is how I had it set up. I have a ratchet strap holding it up. When I needed to move it around to get a better angle, I kind of would just use my leg or knee to move it around to give it a better angle for me to get those bolts in. So that definitely helped out. All right, let's get it off this ratchet. Whoa. I'm not sure what angle would be best for this, but find your angle where you can line it up. All right, let's see if we can zip it on in. Alrighty, and I did kick it back into four-wheel drive, and I'm going to torque these down to 88 foot-pounds. I also had to switch over to a thinner wall socket for this. Bam, good to go. I'm going to see if I can get these torqued down. I don't know where I got this from, honestly, but Channel Lock makes this little set. I'll show you a picture of it, or I'll put some B-roll of it in, but I was able to find it. And I believe I'm going to be able to get a crow's foot in here, hopefully, and just get it to 18 foot-pounds at least. Looks like I barely did it. Alrighty, it's not working out too well, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I have it in four-wheel drive, and I'm just gonna snug it down again. It's not too much force, so it's 18 foot-pounds is what it's calling for. So again, it shouldn't be too tight anyways. So that's pretty good about there. Let me take it out of a four-wheel drive, rotate it, last two, put it back in four-wheel drive. I'll check these out again in a couple 100 miles and see if they've come loose or anything like that. So I don't believe it's something to worry about too much. I need to find something else to be able to torque in tight spaces like this, I guess. If you have any recommendations, let me know definitely in the comments. Alrighty, I think we've got it. So there it is. Definitely a lot more clearance here. So that should help out with it bumping into the exhaust. And even if it does, I don't believe it'll do much, but hopefully it doesn't. Not bad. And last thing I'm gonna do as well is go ahead and grease it up as well on the little Zerk fittings that it comes with. The Adams 1350 Driveshaft is what I went with, and honestly it was a pretty smooth install. No snags that I ran into, and that thing is a beauty. Alrighty, so that wraps up the install. Again, you know, thankfully everything went in smoothly. Nothing too crazy, no snags or anything out of the ordinary there. I hope this definitely is the last bit of piece that I need to go ahead and be able to take it off road finally and be comfortable with all the components working together. Again, we'll go and take it back out and do a nice shakedown run to make sure that that does not happen again, so that we can definitely make sure that everything's been ironed out, at least for what I want to do for now. And on another note, friends and family, we made it to 2026, thankfully, and got some big plans, some big trips planned. I hope I'm able to knock these out this coming year. I think for the most part, I got it dialed in to where I'm gonna be super comfortable with it and being able to take it off road. And it feels really good for now. Again, that shakedown run hopefully does as well, and we don't find any more snags. But if we do, again, oh well, we'll adapt and overcome like we always do. And again, 2026, we've made it. I wish you and your family a happy new year. And until the next time, take it easy out there.